What is up, guys, and welcome to the project. Today we are actually thinking about doing some color grading, and I haven't really done a proper video on this because someone else that also has a YouTube channel near me has actually done this video before. His name's Josh. If you guys want to check him out, I'll try to put the link in the description. I have to find the fucking channel. But he did a video tutorial on how to do color grading for videos, so I'm just gonna quickly do video grading for photos. First things first, get the image you want. I'm going to go with this one, you guys. If you want to see the final product, this is already on my Instagram if you guys want to check it out at the A4 Project. But first things first, we sort of just go in Lightroom and just get some of these images done. There's a weird fucking recording software in the background. Can't get rid of it just yet. There we go, exit. That was weird. But first things first, I want to sort of brighten up some of these shadows because they're a little bit dark, so there we go. So now we've just got a basic all around light picture. There's no differences in the light. It's pretty much the same. Next up, you just want to sort of drop the contrast by a fair bit. It's going to brighten up the image. We'll put it about there first. And at this point, you just sort of drop your exposure to where you want it. So about there. So now at this point, this is a flat image. You can set this up on your camera. It works way better if you already take a picture on RAW with your camera. This sort of works the same. It just sort of allows you, when you put color grading on, it just works a lot more better. I like to drop the saturation just a tiny bit as well, not too much. Yeah, about there will do. You can also muck around with your whites and your blacks. Just sort of gonna. Actually, I'll keep the blacks here and I'll just sort of drop the whites a bit. There you go. So now it's a flat image. Everyone's pretty much the same throughout it. It's just the basic image. That's usually where you start off with. So I'm just going to quickly export that and we'll go into Photoshop. Okay, so once you got your image, just quickly open up on Photoshop. And now you've just, for you guys who want to know what window I'm using, I am just using the default essentials one, just so everyone can really just follow along. I have no setup that I normally use. If anything, I'd probably have this here, this here too. This is probably what I normally have, but just for the sake of today, I'm just going to show you guys my default original. Okay, so I'm just going to drag you down a bit. That's probably important. Now, color grading. First things first, all I'm going to do is just going to duplicate the layer. In case if you decide to fuck up the previous layer, you can just revert back to the original. So with color grading, you sort of want to do a whole mix of things to start with, but what I like to do is just get my color lookup, and you want to load a 3D LUT. Now, I have my own personal 3D LUT. I literally hunted around the internet for about an hour trying to find a free 3D LUT. It's really difficult to find some. If I can find it again, I will see what I can do, but this is sort of my own preset. But if you guys look up, let's see. So if you look up this one right here, so if you look up Hue Landite Rec 709.cube, that will give you the color setup that I normally use. I know a couple of other people use that as well. I like to just use it for this image for some basic color smoothing, because what it does is, if I just quickly load it up, there you go. So it sort of gives you that much more cool blue effect. I know Josh also uses the same thing, I believe, or he's got his own little separate setup. And then I just bring the opacity down by a fair bit. You don't need it too high up. So now your color lookups just sort of brought some of that color back. It sort of just fixes your image up a little bit. And then, of course, it's a bit too blue now, so we're just going to chuck a warming filter on. It works pretty well. So this is how I'm going to use it. I'm just going to use an 85 to, I think. It's a little bit orange, so I'm just going to turn it down just a tad. So now you've just got your base image. This is already probably a lot better. So if I bring this up and just reset that, that was our previous image, and this is our new image. It's a flat image. There's no shadows around the legs. You can see everything, and it's just a lot. It just looks better because of the color alone. So now you just want to go to color balance, and you just mess around with this a little bit. I like to just add a little bit of red, a little bit of blue. Go to my shadows. Add a little bit of cyan, not too much, and then highlights, add a bit of yellow back. It's probably still a bit too much blues there, so probably drop the blue a bit in the mid-tone. What else? Maybe bring. Actually, that's pretty good there. And now you just want to drop your opacity on that just a little bit as well. That just brings back some of your sort of background color on the walls. I like to then go a new layer and have a setup for a gradient map, radial gradient map. This is how I got this basic flat and transparent gradient map. Go around the middle. Now normally I don't press shift, but someone told me I should be pressing shift, so hold shift, and I like to go to about where the styles tab is, let go, and now you've got this. It's probably a little bit too uneven, so I might just go a little bit back again and try that again. Here we go, so that's a little bit more even. It's a bit too dark now though, so what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to go and chuck on a brightness and contrast. You could just lower the opacity on layer 1, but I feel like that sort of fucks it up a bit, and if you raise this instead and then lower it, just sort of fix up some of those edges. So probably about there, and then probably bring this brightness contrast back down a little bit. There you go. And that's pretty much it. That's all I really do, guys. I don't do too much crazy stuff. If you really want, you could probably chuck in a curves as well. Bring it down to about there, and then bring him back up. So straighten that out, and then probably drop the opacity on that, to be honest. So yeah, you could go something like that, maybe just chuck on curves, just sort of darken out some of these spots. It's nothing too important, it just sort of gives it a nice like the Kodak feel from like if you go on to the Canon paper when you print, it sort of has that feel, so it sort of gives the printed feel onto a digital image. But there you go, guys, that's how I color grade. So here's the original one for you guys, really basic. I just took it one afternoon, and here's the final one. Nice, beautiful, clean, schmick, top quality in my opinion, but obviously that's pretty biased. If you guys want more tutorials like this, I've got plenty of them on my channel, and I'll probably do plenty more, so I'll catch you guys later. Peace.